some of you out there are going to be watching this video and you're going to be new to the channel and you're not going to know a lot about me. Allow me to give you some context as to why I'm upset right now. I am a Detroit Pistons fan. Yes, haha. That means I don't have shit else to root for this year, right? Our season's been over since August, okay? Even before the first tip of the season, our season has been over. That means that I allow myself as a treat to root for other teams every now and then. I have been very unapologetic in recent years about my love for the Milwaukee Bucks. There are a myriad of factors that go into this, namely just Giannis, right? Like, it's just, he's a really easy guy to root for. I love the fans. I've had great memories at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. Living in Chicago, not hard to go up to Milwaukee every now and then to catch a game. So imagine how upset I must be that now the second team that I root for decided to punt on their season in fucking January. Doc Rivers is the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. What lessons have we learned here? Maybe it's time for general... God damn, John Horst knows better than this. Like, I know he does. John Horst is probably like the most five-head, giga-brained GM in the league, or so I thought. Did John Horst trick us? Is that the sentiment here? Is that the takeaway here? That the Bucks just decided, fuck it, we don't want to go... God forbid, seriously, dude, that Milwaukee finds themselves in a series where they're up 3-1. I know, haha, we've all been making the jokes already, and it's going to be really, really annoying if it does come to that, whatever. But there is not a coach in the NBA, first of all, who is more susceptible to losing that series than Doc Rivers would be. I'm also upset because it's like, okay, so Milwaukee has one of the highest scoring offenses like in the history of basketball. Their defense stinks. You're probably thinking, well, if you're a Pistons fan, at least you can find some solace in the fact that technically it was you guys that, like, we played, the Bucks played Detroit too close. And was that the straw that broke the camel's back? Like, no. But haha, yes it was, actually, because we need something to fucking be happy about and to cling on to. Yes, Pistons fans, you got Adrian Griffin fired. Cool. But who cares about Adrian Griffin? Nobody ever did. There's another takeaway. General managers need to stop letting their players pick the coach. And I'm not saying you need to brush them to the side and be like, I pay you to dribble the ball and to dunk really hard. Like, you don't make personnel decisions. No. Get some feedback, okay? It's working with the Raiders. I don't know, Antonio Pierce, like, he only got the job because the players were like, give this guy the job. We'll see how that goes. I don't even give a shit about that because the Raiders are always going to stink. Who cares, right? But if I'm a Milwaukee Bucks fan right now, and for all intents and purposes, I consider myself a pretty fair weather Bucks fan, I'm pissed off because I know how good this team is. I know how good this team could be. And you're going to ask me, what would you have rather them done? Right? It's the middle of the season. Do you want us to just roll with an interim head coach for, until June or until April, till May, whenever the Bucks end up inexplicably losing? Because that's what's going to fucking happen. I can't believe I'm sitting here in January talking about how cooked the Bucks are when they have like one of the highest win percentages in the NBA. But for all intents and purposes, still one of the best teams in the NBA. The only difference is now Doc Rivers is at the helm. That is how unsure, how skeptical. Skeptical doesn't even do it justice. Like, this is... Take myself back down to earth for a second. What's the funniest part about this? Is the funniest part about this whole thing that CNN apparently is punting on election coverage, and they're like, fuck that. We need skin in the game. We need an NBA insider. What is CNN doing breaking this story last night? There's so many little breadcrumbs that you could follow and figure out how that actually happened. I've read like 3 versions of kind of the same story. It's only funny. Technically, they were ahead of it. Is that part of a larger conversation on like modern journalism isn't even about being right. It's just being first. What am I even talking about? It's not that serious. Yes, it is. By the way. Yes, it is. Was Adrian Griffin set up to fail? Is another question that people are asking. Nope. No. And that's what I meant to say a minute ago. Because there's the whole, like, well, he didn't know they were going to be trading for Damian Lillard. Oh, my God. Oh, no. There's the real take. There's the real take, right? Why didn't you just keep Terry Stotts? After all of this, now we have to look back, because that wouldn't have been the worst interim head coach. At least there's some, like, coexisting shit between him and Damian Lillard, where it's like, I don't know, he understands what goes on in Dame's brain. He understands how to motivate him, what works with him, what doesn't work with him. Something that Adrian Griffin, I guess, didn't understand, or at least how to properly scheme defensively. When you lose the locker room, and this is why I guess Pistons fans, we technically can't credit ourselves for cooking Adrian Griffin, even if it was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. Once you lose the locker room, that's it. And by the sounds of it, that happened like a month and a half ago. So in some ways, it's kind of a wonder that he lasted this long. I'm upset. I'm disgusted. I'm appalled. It's funny if you go back and listen to Doc Rivers over the last couple months talk about the Bucks. He's been very bullish on them. And people have hypothesized that this has kind of been in the chamber the whole time, because wasn't he like a consultant for them in some form? That's a bullshit title, by the way. There's not even smoke there. I don't think there's anything going on, nothing nefarious there, that like he was always kind of had like one foot in the door that, hey, if something happens here, maybe I'm going to have this job. I don't think so. Being a consultant for an NBA team isn't real. It's not. It's a check. Remember when Steve Nash was a consultant for the Warriors a couple years ago? Do we credit Steve Nash for literally anything that the Warriors did or continue to do? Well, what's that even entail these days? Nothing. That's the weird thing about the Warriors. Is it's like, half of these guys, I'm like, does Andrew Wiggins care? Does he care? Well, I don't know, because he's kind of had some shit going on, and this is supposed to be about Milwaukee. What else do you want me to say? I don't know. This sucks. Like the equivalent of like basketball OJ Simpson has another job. Again, we keep hiring this guy. For what? Because he won a championship in 2008? Okay. Although if you really look at like what coaches are even available that have won a championship, and that's kind of that's the thing, is what did you want them to do? Did you want them to go get Jeff Van Gundy? Take him off the bench? Off of the broadcasting bench? Oh, really? Might as well have hired like fucking Adam Lefkoe or something. Seriously. Hire Ernie Johnson. No, don't take Ernie off TV. No, don't take Ernie off TV. Where's this even going? Milwaukee, I'm sorry. I've spent years caping for you guys. I've spent years in the mud with you guys, even though you guys have been good the entire time that I've been in the proverbial mud with you guys. And I'm sorry that this is the moment that I've decided to not give up, but be very sternly against, on a fundamental level, what this organization wants to do. John Horst, I feel like I have been had. I feel like I'm getting Scooby-Dooed right now by John Horst. This is bullshit.